I'd never in a million years dreamed that she would have leukemia.
It was devastating. It's like, man, what is going on with my child?
And so it was one of the most devastating times ever. I just didn't know how to handle it. You know, even with me being a nurse, I wasn't prepared for that diagnosis on my baby.
When you actually hear it, you hear those words, yeah, the fear's pretty crippling.
You would never, ever want to be a part of this group. But when you do become part of this group, you meet people that you will forever, ever love. And 18 Ministries, it's just indescribable how blessed we were to be able to live in that apartment and feel safe and feel loved.
Spring break 2024, we were in Disney World, and she had told me multiple times there that her stomach hurt. So we came home and we were in the pediatrician's office every week after Disney World. We ended up with the flu, strep, an ear infection that never cleared up. She was running fever on and off. And so on day 5 of her fever, Blake took her to urgent care.
And we walked in, he did a viral swab, and he started feeling on her, started at her neck and slowly working his way down through her belly. He was just really straightforward and really clear. He's like, this looks like leukemia and you're headed to Children's to go get blood work done.
We got to Children's ER around 7:30, and we had a diagnosis of about 9:45 from blood work. We were then admitted to the oncology floor on May 8th, 3 days before her 3rd birthday. So from there, we got her port placed and started chemo within 2 days. So we were sent home a week after. Then she started her induction phase, and she was in remission within 29 days.
In 2023, we were out at Topgolf, and I took Ava to the bathroom, and the toilet bowl was full of blood, and I'm like, something is not right. So I scooped her up and took her to Children's, and lo and behold, they did all the scans and everything, and they were doing a kidney ultrasound, and they told us it was kidney cancer.
You want a lot of help, or you want to like take her away?
I was numb. I just didn't know how to react. With me being a nurse and you hearing cancer and you hearing stage 4 cancer, I didn't know at the time that Wilms tumor was treatable, because all I heard was stage 4 cancer. And just my history of working with patients, and stage 4 cancer is mostly always terminal.
But we don't want to mix it like
I was just so thankful and so glad to know that, that it was an opportunity for her to recover from this.
About mid-June of this year, Hayes came down with cough, congestion, fever. We took him to our local doctor. He was negative for COVID, flu, strep, all those things, and he just persistently had a fever. On June 30th, we took him to the local ER where we're from, and they did some blood work on him and his white blood cell count, which is normally from 4 to 10. His was 247, and we were transported to Children's Hospital. And within about an hour, 2 hours after arriving at the ER at Children's, we found out that he had AML, which is acute myeloid leukemia. Your child having cancer is never in the back of your head, ever. When you hear those words, it's heartbreaking. They did ask us, do you want to step outside? And I said, no, he has to know what's going on with him as well.
Well, they were able to explain it in a way that I was able to understand everything that was going on.
With AML, there's multiple different genetic mutations that can happen with this type cancer. Hayes was a high-risk genetic mutation. The day that we found that out, my older 2 children were swabbed as well. And it was about 3 weeks after that we found out that Harrison was a 100% match and that Harper was a 50% match. So both of them could have been donors. Harrison was just the better option at the time.
The day getting the phone call that Harrison was the match, and Harrison being over 18 or older, they don't call us, they call him directly.
They asked me on the phone, are you okay with being the bone marrow donor? And I said, of course, absolutely. The pleasure to get to do that for my brother is just something I cannot describe. I mean, it's just indescribable.
I knew he would do it, and it was just very happy and exciting that he
saved your life.
Mm-hmm.
Look how good.
A-Team was one of the first ministries that reached out to us. It was immediate community because we felt connected in the cancer world with other people. So Andy and Jan took us to dinner shortly after, and I just fell in love with them and their hearts and their ministry.
One of the things that I was not prepared for is just the overwhelming support and care groups that are out there to help you walk with your child.
Every week they send out an email, who they're praying for. And it also helps me connect with other people in the cancer world, what sweet babies, who I can be praying for.
Let's pull some turkey.
We went through treatments for about 15 months. She initially, as soon as she got her port, they started doing chemo. It was not like you hear people say, I'm going through chemo, and you just think it's just like, hey, I'm just going to get medicine or I'm taking a pill. It's much harder. It's harder on the patient, and it's extremely, it's hard on the family too. Ava experienced some things. She lost about 17 pounds, and she didn't have 17 pounds to lose. It took a toll on all of us. I didn't know that my life was going to be turned upside down, and A-Team was there to help guide through that, and we met other families through A-Team, and so it was just a wonderful experience. Natalia kind of got put on the back burner because Ava became the priority, but she understood. She never gave me a problem about it. She was always like, just take care of Ava. It's gonna be okay, Mama. Everything will be fine. Natalia was a wonderful support. She would always come and stay at the hospital and spend the night, and she wanted to be there with Ava through everything she was going through. Once she graduated, A-Team had a scholarship available, and she applied, and she got the scholarship, and she's going to school at Alabama A&M University. I was just grateful, very grateful for that opportunity for Natalia, because college is expensive. It was just a blessing to have that scholarship money to help support her.
In May of this year, when Greer was diagnosed, she was 3 days before her 3rd birthday, and Cooper was 6 months old at home. And really at that point, we'd never been away from Cooper overnight. And then so the night we were diagnosed, our neighbor Maggie, who was 28, 29 years old at the time, took Cooper, kept him at her house for 2 days, and then he just got bounced around right away for 6 days, really seeing me and Kaylee for maybe an hour a day. Fast forward to today, he's almost 1.5 years old, and he's Greer's little Bubba. Now you'll see him walk up and just put his arms around her and lay his head on her, and it just melts mine and Kaylee's heart. Their bond is pretty indescribable.
We have not gone to church until today. So this morning was our first time going to church since Greer was diagnosed 9.5 months ago. And it just feels so good. She started dance 2 weeks ago, and I started crying going into the parking lot because I was just so excited for her to do something that she once loved to do. I used to, complain to Blake about how busy I was. Now I don't take any of that for granted. I want her to sign up for every dance, every gymnastics, every cheerleading event.
Our cancer journey without A-Team would have looked a lot different. You don't really want to think about it just because A-Team was such a big part of it that made things so smooth and so easy for us. The day Hayes was discharged from the hospital, we came here, we were here 10 minutes, and then we were in the apartment getting settled in.
I was actually out of work for about 6 months taking care of him. So financially, we were supported because we didn't have to worry about the cost of anything at the apartment. Scott was still trying to work full-time, and Hayes and I spent a lot of time alone at the apartment. So the safety that we felt being here was good. And just the love in general that we felt. We knew that if we needed anything, that Andy and Jan were just right across the road for us, and we could always call them.
The location of the apartment too, so on the days that Hayes felt good, he could get out, and there's just so many different things within walking distance that he can get out and go do things and kind of feel like a normal kid, going in and out of coffee shops, restaurants, toy stores.
Probably went in every day. We went in one day and they gave me a t-shirt.
Mm-hmm. One day we went in and somebody had already paid for the toy that he picked out.
We're back home full time. Hayes still goes to clinic about 1 day a week. We are, I guess, a month and a half or so away from his 180-day bone marrow aspiration. At his 100-day bone marrow aspiration, he was still 100% cancer-free.
But it's a lot different than it was before. I think we spend a lot more family time than we used to. It used to be kind of everyone in their own room, and I would say we sit together every night. I guess don't take it for granted all the time you can spend with each other.
I would have had y'all in here.
Seeing him smile and feel like a normal 11-year-old little boy is just a blessing, because he did miss out. You know, cancer robs you of so many things that you just don't even realize it. But God has gone before us, and God has fought this battle for us. And him reaching remission, you know, we take this one day at a time, one moment at a time, and one step at a time. But we put our trust in God.
There's not a better organization to give to than A-Team. A-Team needs to be there for every pediatric cancer patient, you know, so they need the funds. Anything that can help them, it would be wonderful for all the children that are coming along in this journey behind Ava.
Thank you for everything you do. I love you.
Encourage you to give, support A-Team. Just know that it is going to be money very, very well spent.
Supporting A-Team would mean so much to me and my family in this cancer world. They're doing so much for all of us, and every little bit helps.
Our family couldn't have done it without A-Team. Without getting to stay this close to the hospital, I honestly don't know how they could have done it financially or anything, because finding the apartment, first of all, and it's so expensive here. A-Team just made it so much easier.
Thank you to the people that have supported this ministry, because it's indescribable the burden that it takes off of the families.
They truly are the hands and feet of Jesus.